a mix of things we're going to talk about today, and we'll start with the year-end sort of administrative stuff first. RMDs, for clients that have retirement accounts that are above the age of 72, you are required to take a certain amount out of that account each year. We know that amount. We have the entire list. We know who's scheduled to meet it. We know who's already met it. We also know people who have not that need to take an additional amount out before the end of the year. So you will be hearing from us in the next week or two as we go through that, because we want to make sure everybody satisfies that RMD requirement before the end of the year. Second, Social Security is going up by 9% starting in January. That's great news. Honestly, beat my expectation for what I thought they'd increase it by. You know, they always say they tie that Social Security increase to cost of living. Well, I think this is proof that they've actually do. And so that's good news. Lastly, if you've had a lot of irregular income sources this year, which happens when people are in a sort of retirement, just retired transition, it may be a good idea to schedule some time to come in and do a little bit of tax planning. We've been doing this a couple times over the last week or so. It's a very typical for this part of the year. So if you've had, again, these irregular income sources, you want to make sure that you've withheld at least enough to avoid any IRS penalties for under withholding. So we know who a few people are. We've already reached out to you, but if you want to sit down and talk about year-end taxes, give us a call, get on our schedule so we can do that. Now let's talk about some good news, believe it or not, in the economy and the market. So today, as of this morning, it was announced that the October CPI grew by 7.7%, 0.4% month over month. Now here's the deal. It's still high, but it's better than Wall Street expectation of 7.9%, which means that maybe, just maybe, the Fed is what they're doing is working. Now, we had a 1 month anomaly in July, so we have to be careful not to get too excited here, because again, it could just be a 1 month anomaly. But for the first time in several months, our inflation data appears to be lower. And so what's the next step? Well, the Fed says they're going to keep tightening rates. So December, they're supposed to go up 0.5%. They could go higher though. They could go another 0.75. They have a target range they're trying to hit. Wall Street expects 0.5 because that puts them on the target range. You know, they could go higher. Now, they do expect to keep increasing rates through the middle of next year. So rates could go up another, 1 to 2.5%. That's not necessarily good news for the stock market based upon historical response in the past couple months. However, if you look back historically at stock market recoveries, they often happen when you least expect. The stock market, as we've talked about many, many times in these videos, is a forward indicator of economic policy, if you will, really of economic success or failure in the country. Looking forward, the stock market may see a lot of positivity 6 to 12 months as the Fed's coming out of this tightening cycle with interest rates. And it may turn around faster than anyone expects. That's why you can't play the market timing game. I mean, look at today. Today, so far, as of this morning, the market has responded extremely positively to this inflation data. The employment data last week, where it shows that we might actually be seeing a loosening of our employment situation. What is that? That means that there's more people unemployed, the unemployment rate is actually going up, and that some more layoffs have occurred. Now, as crazy as that sounds, because in 99.9% of the time, you're always looking for better employment data, not worse. But again, that could be an indicator with some worse employment data that the economy might actually be slowing a little bit and responding to the Fed's interest rate changes, as well as other measures they're taking to sort of curtail this inflationary problem. And of course, the elephant in the room is we had an election this week. I don't know if you heard about it or not. But the election, obviously, results are still pending. But I do want to highlight the fact that historically, elections don't have much impact on long-term market success. Now, I'm not saying they won't in the future, but I'm just going by historical data. Also, when it comes to policy and monetary policy, that is largely set by the Federal Reserve, which is supposed to be an apolitical organization. So, as investors, it's very important that we don't focus on one specific or one positive or negative aspect of what's going on and assume that will be the answer and the way forward forever. It's always important that we stay focused on the long term. Corporate America is still very healthy. It appears that the stock market is mostly just concerned with the Fed and their interest rates and inflation. And hopefully we're seeing some sign that we might be on the back end of this inflationary curve. And maybe next year at some point, we'll be on to a new expansionary market cycle. I hope everybody has a great day. Hope everybody has a great week. Again, we'd like to hear from you. If you got any questions, concerns, anything like that, give us a call. Take care.